Greetings, rise and shine, brethren. We are the World Global Reset Restoration Network family, comprised of 198 sovereign nations with over 7 billion sovereign principles, being of one mind, one heart, and one spirit, walking together under the divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I come to you as a voice in the wilderness to introduce to you a man. No, not just any man, but a man sent by Yah Allah to redeem mankind. Dr. Hindu I.L. Henderson, the Adak Chief Justice of the Universal World Court, and who's also known as Yehoshua Mashiach, the Son of Man. The information that you will be receiving in this and other videos you won't get from anywhere else on the planet. Hear the many truths and fulfillment of the laws, judgments, and sentencings from our Creator, Father Yah, as well as the fulfillment of the true interpretation of the Holy Scriptures and books. Now, without further ado, Dr. Hindu I.L. Henderson with his beloved host, Shelley Bowling.
I want to help our brothers and sisters of this universe. I want them now to just take a walk with me, a very short walk. It's not going to take that long, and it's not going to be one of those walks where it's going to be a long drawn-out walk where your feet will become sore and tired. But it's a short walk, and guess what? You can do it right where you're sitting now. So this is an imagination walk where you must use your imaginary mind to be able to focus on that which is truth. So take this walk with me. It's a short one. Right now, in case you haven't been able to see, you haven't been able to recognize that there is a sixth trumpet on the planet, and that sixth trumpet just so happens to be the President of the United States of America by his title in which they given him. Those in whom deemed themselves once upon a time to be his friends. They once upon a time deemed themselves to be nothing more than those that would have been his colleagues. They deemed themselves once upon a time to even be one step higher than what he was. They deemed themselves to be greater than he was, and they once even laughed and joked about he would never be able to be in their shoes or to do what they have done based upon even being given a title of president of any would-be company or any would-be town or any would-be city. That was what they said. And now that they have found themselves with him being on the same level as if they themselves would be considered to be the president of what they know it to be, the United States of America, it just really, really gets beneath their skin. And people that swore that they could always become a president before he could ever wake up out of a dream to even be one who had been considered to be a hero in his own dream. She now sits idly by because she lost to him in 2016. She ain't laughing too much no more. You don't even get a smile out of her anymore, and especially when he walks into the room and they say, Mr. even her intestines probably find themselves closing up, not allowing anything to escape. Stay with me, you'll get it in a minute. She finds a great time to even become constipated, that she can't even find herself able to breathe properly, based upon the fact she just cannot come to the point of reality that she's saying, Mr. President, to a man she once said that he cannot even be a hero in his own nightmares. And you should already recognize that no, we're not supporting Mr. Donald John Trump. We're not supporters. No. We didn't recruit him. No. But I do know that he is the sixth trumpet of the universe, and all that his job is to do right now is to call everyone to war. Why do you think he's so well hated? No, stop it. He's not just hated amongst the so-called Nancy Pelosi party. He's not hated just because of the Democratic Party. He's even hated amongst the Republican Party. I don't think you're actually listening. The Republicans, the independent Republicans, they call themselves, that's against Donald John Trump. Donald J. Trump, they would call him. You don't even recognize that right now. Even if you call up the would-be China's ambassador, he would tell you he hates Donald Trump. Go ahead, call him up. Call up the Japanese ambassador. Ask him what does he think about Donald John Trump. Can't stand the man. Call up Germany. Get Hitler's granddaughter on the phone. She will tell you she can't stand the man. Call Canada. One who once upon a time they dubbed his father as being nothing more than a modern-day Casanova. God almighty. Stay with me. Don't leave me now, Trudeau. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But ask him, what did he think about the man? With so much hate, so much hatred, that's been built up by only a small group of people classifying themselves as Democrats, that has been nothing more than a homemongering, hate-mongering group that has been now, I would say, encompassed around only a few people like the Clintons, the Obamas, the Bushes. Yeah, they still celebrating together. They sit down from time to time and look at old reruns of themselves coming in, marching in as the president and as the first lady. And they even talk about how they came in so much eloquent than one that they deem to be now Donald and Melania. They said they came in so much eloquent that the people would not even have recognized that most of them still had toilet paper that was hanging from their dresses and hanging from their pants. No one would have noticed them because they came in so eloquently under what would have been known as true manipulations and tricks for the people and lies for the people, to no one really noticed the things in which was really going bad. And with all of the malfunctions of what would have been considered to be of their clothing, no one would have noticed it. Costume malfunction, I called it. No one noticed that half the time one of them would come in unshaven. Nobody would recognize that he was unshaven because they were so used to believing that he was the most handsomest guy on the planet. He was known as the first man. He was known as the most powerful being on the planet. So no one noticed all of the flaws. Stay with me just for a brief moment longer. I know some of you get tired and even your imagination, and I don't want to truly ever challenge you to follow me in the spirit, because I know then you will find yourself faltering and falling to that which I would say would be contemptible, and thereby you will be destroyed by my Father eternally, and I don't want to challenge you in that. But just follow me just a little while longer here. Just bear with me just a little while longer on this would-be journey of a short walk of recognition where you will realize that right now, your government, they have already dubbed Donald J. Trump, and for as you're concerned, they have dubbed him as being the devil himself, not realizing that he is the one that has come that's bringing you nothing more than an eye-opening of who the devil's children are. And he's not the father of them. For the matter of fact, he told you he was going to go to Congress and drain them from a swamp in which they all were in. They're still leaking out as we speak. And as they begin to drain out, they just keep going deep into the swamp to pull someone else out. Ain't that right, Ms. Harris? They just keep trying to find them, and they believe that now that they have found one, that they can even call her the old Sojourner Truth, because they believe that she somehow went down and she never came back up. But then they're looking for her to be even Harriet Tubman, one in which they believed that did nothing more than carry the people all the way north just to still be lost. As we know it will be doomed already, based upon the fact that yes, the area will be there, but that name will no longer be a title on this planet. We have often said that to those that are in the area, that are there in that particular area around what is known as the Capitol and all the other buildings and all the other would-be so-called places in which they are classified to be a part of a so-called United States world. All those things are not going to no longer be in existence. The buildings will be there, the names will be long gone. And I would say that the majority of the people that are there now will be long gone. So we're not trying to impress them, neither should we be trying to say something to them that's going to cause them to want to change their way of life. No one cares. Right now, this is the United Nations call. We want to make sure that we keep it perfectly clear to our brothers and sisters of all the other nations that we are not part of any would-be group that is classifying themselves to be a group of unrest. Those are the people that are out there protesting against the righteous things of life, but the things that they deem to be of a good thing, they want to go then and try to destroy it. We don't have time for all of that. Right now, we are in a world where it is coming to a close for a new beginning. Either we are going to be part of it, or we will no longer exist. That's where we're at right now. So as we go forward, knowing that even the leader that the US of A has right now is nothing more than a trumpet blower. He's the sixth trumpet for the sound of those in whom should be coming out of the mountains, coming out of what we know to be the ground, coming out of what we know to be the valley, and any other place that they may be hid. They need to come out, because right now he is blowing a trumpet. He gets no other choice but to sound that trumpet off his face to bring in the people for the battle. This is time for a war. After the war, it will be a battle. No one can escape. There's no running. There's no hiding. No one will be able to dig a hole and climb in it just for everything to blow over, and then he come out well protected and ready to start all over again. As it has been said about the pandemic as well, there is no going back to normal. But I don't know why people now are waiting for those people to come out in this world that they classify to be some social setting, to give them the information which I've given them now for would have been a whole would-be year. They've received this now for 10 years from me, that once it came to this point, there will be no turning back, no return, no so-called normal. There is no normal. The normal is going to be what's coming, not what's passing. Based upon the fact that even right now, my colleague, you're talking about the seventh angel, but it's not time for that yet. I can assure them that when the seventh angel does begin to blow, it's going to be such a major reason for that seventh angel to blow until the whole united world is going to be rushing and crying and trying to come together at the last given moment, because right now the sixth angel is not through. The sixth angel is still bringing forth everything that has to be brought forth just to inform mankind of what's going on. However, they're looking for these sixth and seventh angels to be those things that are wearing wings, flying through the sky, looking angelical, looking as if though they could be brand new Christians following a man that they call Jesus the Christ. This is not what it means when it speaks of the sixth or the seventh angel. This is one of the greatest manipulations that have been brought to the world by those so-called holy men from some so-called temple that they call St. Peter's in the Vatican, known as Vatican Rome. They have brought this evangelical thought to the people's mind that what people now still believing that angels are going to be of some so-called feminine force, where they're going to come out wearing these would-be real clear white, curly white dresses, where they will also have these clear and would-be transparent wings that they'll be flying through the sky with some golden hair that will be hanging down to the ground. These are not angels. Those are imaginations that have come from those who have sold you an imagination based upon a story in which they have inflicted upon your hearts, where you might find yourself flying off with these angels to some unknown land of ignorance. And whereby we have to bring you the truth. I know, even as my colleague, she brings you those understandings and reading even of the text, and whereby speaking of the seventh angel, many of you have glued your mind to some angelly thought, and whereby your brain is still manipulated. It's on a course of collision with what would be known as fairy tales and all of the other things in which man has sold you to keep you pacified, while he has been able to manipulate you to the point of destroying your neighborhoods and even destroying your very own homes in which you live with your family. When Donald Trump decides to leave and put the trumpet down because his time of blowing it will be over with, the sixth angel will walk out the door and everything will be going to what we know to be to hell. Chaotic destruction. The wars will be blasting full force. Yes, the battle will begin to start on the eastern shores and on the western shores and on the northern shores and on the southern shores. So shall be the greatest battle of all times. It's called the Battle of Armageddon. And all of you who will be caught in the so-called voting booths, all of you that will be caught between Barack Obama and the Clintons and the Bushes and all the other people that you have deemed to be great men of some so-called would-be authority that was going to save you, you will be caught between all of them. And I need you to understand that right now, they say that Russia easily has that which is classified as a missile that can even bring down satellites. God Almighty, you're going to be in a major war and a major battle. Me, I'm going to sit back and watch it. I get to be the referee for the four beasts. Remember, they still have to fight. And I'm going to be in the middle of the octagon, and I'm going to watch the four beasts. They're going to come marching down the aisles in all four different directions of the earth. They will come from the north, the east, the south, and the west. I will be standing in the center. I will wait until they enter the ring. And then I will give them the instructions, and they will begin to fight. They already understand the rules. They don't touch the referee. If they touch the referee, that one I will eliminate very quickly. So I would tell them, eyes on your enemy. I'm not your enemy. If you take your eyes off your enemy to watch the referee, you are going to take a vicious blow, and that blow just sends you on quickly to your demise. Right now, the United States is in the progress and in the process of trying to find them a Stella. You know, they need a Stella right now. And they're going to use one of Stella's old friends, an old white male friend, who would have told Stella that her boyfriend was cheating on her. He would have only told Stella that because he wanted a certain position that Stella was able to give him and place him in a position where he would be able to control those things in which even Stella herself would not truly have a whole lot of power. And thereby he would use his power to help Stella keep things in order. I know. You got to understand what I'm talking about, because this is as clear as I'm going to make it for you. For the simple fact, you must understand that right now, that's exactly what your government is doing. They have found an old an old guy, you know what I mean? They have found one who is willing now to sell his soul. He's willing now to sell his soul to save himself. Sell his soul to save himself. I know it sounds crazy, doesn't it? And it's just as crazy as it sounds. He has done so much illegal stuff. He has been so prejudiced in the past. He has worked so hard to keep the black people down. He has worked so hard to make sure that anyone on any level that would have been at least agreeing with the black folks of the universe, that he would have made sure that he would have done anything in his power to keep them from ever being in charge. Now all of what he deems to be his great would-be black leaders that once would have at least patted him on the back and say, Joe, we're going to make it. Joe, we can go forward. Joe, we can make it happen. Joe, I know that if we keep you in charge, I will be able to follow you. Yes. And Joe now is doing and saying anything that he has to do and say, just to stay in position for the right time and the right moment. Want to make it simple for Joe? See, when you're on the ship and the ship gets ready to go down, Joe is willing to turn the ship over to whomever wants to take control of it because it's going down. And Joe is willing to give his place on the ship as the leader to those in whom will take over the ship that believe that they can keep it afloat. Because Joe is getting ready to jump ship. Joe knows the only way he can truly jump ship and keep what he would deem to be his respect, his honor, and his courage amongst those that he deemed to be his white brothers and sisters is that he can place himself in a position where he's no longer considered to be the leader of the ship, and thereby when all of those vessels that are classified to be the survival vessels leave the ship Titanic when it's going down, he will now be able to get on one of those surviving ships and sail away from the huge Titanic that's going down without losing any honor or respect amongst those of his peers. Stay with me. You're going to catch it in a minute, because I can assure you that old Stella trying to get her groove back haven't gotten it yet. And she's racing for the chance right now to be able to get her groove back by becoming the most powerful leader of the universe. And she deems that the most powerful leader of the universe is the leader that leads the United States of America. Not realizing right now, for Stella or for anyone that takes charge a nation that's classified as the United States of America, you are going to be deemed, whether you want to or not, to be nothing more than a criminal. You're going to be deemed to be nothing more than a violator of mankind. You're going to be the person that they're going to deem to be the same person in whom you would have been named in the Garden of Eden as the one in whom caused all of the problems and troubles. Oh, you missed that part. You didn't catch that. I told you it's the Holy Scriptures. That's the part in which you should be paying to the most. I told you to read all the holy books. It's obvious that you have not yet read the basic initial story and what has gotten you in the conditions and where you're at today. Yeah. Let me help you out. Yes, that was Adam and that was Eve. Did you catch that? And then there was that one in whom was deemed to be Lucifer himself. Lucifer was a pure white angel, they would call him. And he himself was known as the old man. Let's call him Joe, right? And we would deem Eve, we're going to give her her real name since she's getting her groove back. We're going to call her Stella. You got what I'm saying? And now they have put it together once again, where Stella's going to listen once again to Lucifer in the garden, and she is going to be beguiled once again, that she's going to betray not just the man in whom she's in the garden with, not just the man in whom she was taken from, not just the man whom she deems to be the one who was placed there for her protection and safety, but she's going to beguile him and trick him. And she's going to follow these would-be guidelines of the one they deem him to be, Lucifer, the great angel, the great fallen angel. I know someone's got to be catching it by now, and you got to understand exactly what's getting ready to happen in your prophecy. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be something that you need to truly open your eyes and see. We're not talking about Jeffrey Epstein right now. We're not talking about Jeffrey Epstein. He's already gone, remember? We're not even talking about his friend, Prince Andrew, who now, there are those who are willing to even testify that they have seen him with topless women that were underage. But we're not talking about him right now. Because believe it or not, so many of them now find themselves being brought to justice based upon idea what's going on at the White House right now. And even though they're still finding ways to, we would say, confuse the world and confuse the people around, even as the one known as Donald J. Trump, is still using his position. Yes, he's using his position right now. Power position. And even though they say he's using his position right now as abusive power, one must ask the question, what is so abusive about the power in which he's using now, when all of those that are said to be in power, who has been nothing more than corrupt power for the past 240 plus years, are now being brought to justice? What's so corrupt about that? One must ask that question. I would say to the world that right now they're asking Donald J. Trump, is he going to question the next would-be election? He's telling them that he will question it. Then he gets to a point where he says he may not question it. Let me help you out. He's not concerned about questioning it because everything that he said he was going to do, he's doing it. No, I'm not supporting Donald Trump. No, I'm not campaigning for Donald Trump. For the matter of fact, me, I'm wanting Donald Trump to lose. You know why? Because if Donald Trump truly wins, Donald Trump will be once again put in a position where he's going to have to finish up the job as the angel who is blowing the sixth trumpet. He can do nothing more than that. All he can do is blow the trumpet. He's giving you more time. The one who comes after the sixth trumpet is blown will be those in whom will be the same ones that were in the garden that destroyed the world in which we know it now as the Garden of Eden. That's who they're going to be. I already told you in the past that you have to get to the point where the leader is going to be a he-she spirit. It's going to be a masculine spirit that thinks it's a feminine system, or it's got to be a feminine system that believes that it's a masculine system. You should understand that by now. So it would be best now to have a weak would-be president of a masculine force and a strong would-be so-called vice president of a would-be masculine force of the feminine side. Come on, people. Sure, you got to be able to figure out what's happening to you right now. Once again, you're being played like a flute. You're being played like a fiddle. They're having you believe one thing, but at the same time truly wanting you to do just the opposite that will move you into destruction. And that's where you're headed, destruction.